Having the YouTube channel that I do gives me a fairly unique situation in that I receive a lot of comments about the topics that I discuss. And seeing as my channel is based heavily around content concerning the creation of tones using digital guitar modelers or profilers, I do see a lot of discussion about particular topics. And one of those is anytime something new, like let's say Tonex comes out, it's inevitable that folks are going to compare it to the other existing modelers, to Fractal, to Helix, and so on and so forth. And it's kind of amusing sometimes because I see some very blanket statements being made by folks saying, oh my goodness, Tonex just blows away Helix. Or no way, Helix still is way better. And I get all of these different opinions coming in comments, and I find some of them a little interesting because there's so many variables involved in this, and there's so many blanket statements made a lot of times. And I find that for the most part, a lot of the folks with the strongest opinions are the ones who've never really tested anything in the proper way. So that brought an idea back to me. I haven't done a blind test on my channel in a while, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun? Because I really haven't sat down and made a direct comparison between the Line 6 Helix, which is really my main modeler. I just played a couple shows this weekend with my HX Stomp equipped board. Sounds amazing, as it always has for me. I also love Tonex. It's just incredible, and the tones are just spectacular. But I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a proper and accurate comparison? Now, obviously, I'm not going to go through tons of different amp models, but I did take one of the Tonex captures that I have done, which is of my Fender Deluxe, which is right down here. I don't know if you can see it on screen, but it is a 65 Fender Deluxe reissue. Now, this is obviously going to be different than the Fender Deluxe that the folks from Line 6 used to model their version of it in the Helix. But I decided to take the vibrato channel captures, the DI'd ones. Now, the reason I did the DI ones rather than the amp cab captures is simply because I wanted to focus just on the guitar modeling side of things, not so much the speaker cab. Because if I applied two different speaker cabs, the one that I captured here in my room with my microphone and placement and whatnot, and then tried to apply a similar cab within the Helix, I don't necessarily have the same microphone that's going to be used in the Helix, and there's too many other variables involved. So what I decided to do is to shoot an IR myself, the one that's actually included with my Deluxe DI captures. And these are all available on my website. I'm going to have links below for the Tonex packages that I have available for the Fender amps, and especially the Deluxe. And I'll also have links to my Line 6 Marketplace presets below. So if you want to check those out, you can. But I decided to take this IR I captured in the studio here and apply it to both Helix native and to the Tonex capture I did of my Fender Deluxe Reverb. So the methodology I'm using here is that I have the DI'd Tonex capture. I've applied this IR to it. There's no other processing whatsoever. I've taken the Fender Deluxe Vibe model in the Helix and just the amp, and I've applied the same IR. This is a custom IR that I have shot. So there's no trickery here trying to give one the advantage, either Tonex or Helix. Now, I've plugged straight into my audio interface at the normal level that I will run it at, which is very accurate to the real world signal that's coming out of the guitar itself. And what I've done is I have captured the exact same performance, and I'm playing it one through Helix native and one through Tonex. Now, what I did is I just used Tonex as the target simply because I don't want to tweak that. I captured a certain way and I wanted to leave that alone. And then I made whatever really quick on the fly adjustments to just the tone stack within the Helix model using only treble, bass, and volume, trying to get the gain very close, trying to get the treble and bass kind of as close as I can. So I'm going to do today a blind test. I'm going to play you clip A, clip B. I'm going to play the full length riff that I decided to play. And it's kind of a clean tone with a bit of hair on it. So maybe just edge of breakup, but I'm going to play a long clip of clip A, and I won't tell you which one that is, and then I'll play you the same clip B. It's the same performance. I volume matched these to within pretty much 0.1 or 0.2 dB. And I'm going to play the long clip. Then I'm going to take a little snippet of each clip, much shorter, so you can kind of go back and forth. And we'll go back and forth through that so you can really listen in carefully so that even the longer performance doesn't skew our views of what we're hearing. I find when you listen to just a long clip and then another long clip, there's too many variables that could possibly confuse what we feel we're hearing. So we'll do the long one. We'll do maybe a couple passes through that, and then I'll take a smaller little clip from each of those long passes and go back and forth between clip A and clip B. And then I'll let you leave in the comments below whether you think clip A is the Helix and clip B is the Tonex, or vice versa. This is really not to prove anything. I thought it would just be more fun and to kind of do much closer to a proper comparison between them. Now, I know there's folks going to come on and say, oh, you should have used a high gain sounder, or you should have used a cleaner sounder. There's always going to be somebody that's going to tell me how I should have done it. I'm not really interested in that. I'm just doing a fun little experiment here just to let you guys hear and see how much of a difference there is in this particular situation. Again, this isn't really telling you anything, but my take on it is this. And after experimenting with this and comparing endless modelers, and I've said it before, I feel we live in just one of the most incredible times to be a guitar player. We have endless possibilities of getting great tones. And quite honestly, if you can't grab any one of these devices and come up with something great, then the device that we're using is not the issue. So the other little thing I'd like to say though is, Tonex is only as good as the capture we're using. If we're using a capture that wasn't captured very well, then it's going to sound bad. That's not Tonex's fault. That's whoever was making the capture maybe didn't set the microphones right or used the wrong mic, didn't dial the amp in correctly. And also Helix is only as good as the preset that's been dialed in on it. There's lots of folks who've had very bad results with the Helix. It's not the Helix fault. The Helix is capable of sounding really wonderful. I mean, it's very much like that in the real world. I could take any of the amps in my studio and I could probably make them sound pretty bad if I really tried, I could place the microphone in the wrong spot on the speaker or a spot that doesn't really give the amp a flattering sound. I could dial the tone stack in a way that is not going to be great. I could push the master too high. There's a million ways we can make even real world amps sound bad. So we really want to keep that in mind. So this isn't about saying one is better or worse. It's really going to be down to how we use the gear we have. But I think it's always kind of fun to do these comparisons in as scientific a way as possible, getting the volumes matched and really keeping things as fair as possible, such as using the same IR for each, so we can really hear what the difference is or similarities are between them. So without further ado, let's get to our clips and give them a listen. All right, so there you have it. Clip A is either Tonex or Helix, and clip B is either Tonex or Helix, so it's up to you to decide. Leave me a comment below. Tell me which you think is which. And then later this week, I'm going to come back with the results, and I'll show you exactly what I did in Helix and the settings I used to get it to sound like you heard. And then we'll do some playing through it too in that video, just so you can hear the difference when just noodling around a bit with it. So thanks so much for participating. I'd like to get a nice sample size down there to sort of see what folks think they're hearing. And maybe some will just say, I have no idea, and they both sound good, or maybe they'll think they sound bad. I don't know. But anyways, leave me your comments below. I really do appreciate you taking the time to listen and to do that. Also, please like the video and please share this with as many people as you can so we can get a nice sample size on the results for the blind test. And also please please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I'm going to actually leave you with a couple demo videos. One of my Deluxe Reverb DI for Tonex, and you're hearing this in the mix, and also my US Deluxe Vibe Ultimate preset for the Line 6 heel. And all of those are available at the links below. So thanks again for tuning in. I'll be back a little later this week with the results, and we'll talk then.